Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the digital asset investor. I don't know if you can hear that, but I think that is a weed eater that we can hear in the background today. So I'll try to get a little more quiet when he really guns it so that you can hear the weed eater in the background. I got this first piece of information from Mr. B XRP. At XRP, Mr. sent me this, and I thought this was a really good tweet. Crypto BitLord is really good at tweaking us all, but a lot of the things he says, I 1000% agree with. He says XRP should outpace Bitcoin from here, at least to the end of the year. Also, a high chance it will flip Bitcoin if what we know is true. If 1% of what the digital asset investor knows is true, I believe that XRP would just completely fly past Bitcoin in market cap and everything else. There's not a doubt in my mind that if everything that we know right now about XRP and Ripple and what's being done, if all of that was reflected today in the price, there's not a doubt in my mind that it would pass Bitcoin by far. Wouldn't even be a conversation. So, okay, but I replied to him and I said, now say my name from the greatest show ever. Not the greatest show ever. The greatest show ever is Dallas. Remember that. Then in second place is either Breaking Bad or The Sopranos. That's in my book. Okay, there's so much good stuff out there today that it's tough to cover it all. Crypto Leo at Crypto Leo 8. It is an honor to be selected to serve on the New York Digital Currency Task Force. This is a tweet from Ryan Zagone, who has just now been selected to be on the New York Digital Currency Task Force. So I went back and looked at what the New York Digital Currency Task Force is. This was formed by Governor Andrew Cuomo. It says Governor Andrew, this is from back in January of this year. Governor Cuomo signed a bill creating the task force to study cryptocurrencies, other forms of digital currency, and blockchain technology. It says it will be composed of technologists, consumers, institutional and retail investors, representatives from enterprise and academics. The members will be appointed by Cuomo. So we've got the governor of New York who is appointing an employee of Ripple to be on this task force. And for those of you that wonder if you're aligned with the right digital asset in XRP, anything associated with Ripple seems to be able to get their foot in the door in all kinds of meetings and powerful people. And none of this is a coincidence. I always go back to that. None of this is a coincidence. There's a reason that everywhere you look, Ripple is able to get access. They've opened all the right doors. They've hired the right people. They've got the right people running the company. They got the right education, the right connections, the right amount of money, everything that you would want. The dream team of a startup, and I'm surprised they still even call it a startup or a fintech, whatever, startup, whatever. Everything that you could possibly want in your wildest dreams of starting a company, Ripple has. Okay, next. This is from Anthony Pompliano. We need to pay attention to what is happening in India around cryptocurrency regulation. I'm willing to fly to meet with lawmakers and regulators if someone can get me a meeting. Who can help? And then Camo Ammo comes in with a classic reply and says, Ripple can probably arrange the meeting for you. And this is one of the things that I guess I do understand it about Anthony Pompliano. He knows he knows that Ripple is all over India. He knows that. But what I don't understand is why maybe I do understand it, but he constantly just ignores that elephant in the room, as do many people in digital assets. Now, maybe he's just protecting his own pocketbook with the Bitcoin thing, but he knows this, and I think it's hilarious that this is the great thing about where we are as XRP investors and Ripple fans. All of these Bitcoin maximalists that tweet out all of this stuff, they know what we know. And it's got to be an extremely uncomfortable feeling for them that it's almost like they can't even make a comment without someone throwing a hand grenade in and saying, wait a minute, you can't ignore it. The elephant's right here. It's right here in the room with you. You can't ignore this. And they know it. And I think it's hilarious. But I do think that Anthony Pompliano has handled it better than anyone and has been as diplomatic as you can be, considering the position that he's in. So I do like him. I think he's a good guy. Sean Michael at Michaels_Mr. sent me this one. This is great. From Scooter Braun. Great meeting today. Raised in Space and Ripple teams. Great things ahead. And this is a great picture of Brad Garlinghouse in the room with other Ripple employees on the Raised in Space venture. For those of you that don't know what this is from XRP Crypto Wolf. Scooter Braun had a meeting today with Brad Garlinghouse and Ethan Beard about Raised in Space since Spring invested in their business venture. We haven't heard from them since 2018, so this makes me wonder what they have planned for us this year with XRP. For those of you that haven't seen it, this is the Raised in Space website. It's raisedInspace.com. It's a music tech investment group focused on raising the value of music. Raised in Space shepherds extraordinary entrepreneurs creating solutions for the music value chain by providing sophisticated industry intelligence and hands-on guidance, making investments that range from $500K to $5 million. So it looks like they're investing in music ventures. But I wanted to show you these. This is the team. It shows you this guy, and they're running the company. And then you got Scooter Braun, Dave Bolno, I don't know who that is. And then you got Ethan Beard and Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple. So exciting times ahead, folks. Okay. Then we got this from guest one at Freedom944-29944. Now, before I read you this opening here, I want to give you the caveat here that I'm not saying I believe what they're saying here, but it's important enough that I want to let you go and read it for yourself and you decide for yourself. It seems in this thread that there's a bit of a debate going on as to whether he's right about this. But that doesn't mean I'm going to ignore it and not show it to you, so you can go and read it and decide for yourself. The tech aspect of this is not really my bag, but I do read some of these things and pay attention when some of these guys that do know this part of things are talking about it. He says, I have gone through the code repository and have some further clarifications, which I will explain in this thread. The conclusion of this thread in advance: Corda users can submit payments to SWIFT, and settlements for these SWIFT payments will be done via XRP. Now he's going back and looking at code and all sorts of things. Those of you that know this stuff and are into this kind of thing, you can go and read this thread, but I just wanted to make sure you understood. There is a debate going on here about whether he's right or not. Matt Hamilton, he's at Hammer Toe, he's also a very smart guy and is kind of disagreeing in here. So go read it for yourself. You decide what you think's going on here. It would be big if he was right, though. Okay. Well, Michael at VAL5 Links sent me this. This is from Beat Save In. This is important right here. This is a big deal. He says, hi, XRP community. I have something exciting to share with you today. As mentioned by Hoder in his latest blog, I released a library and website regarding the new X address format. So bye-bye destination tag, hello X address. A new address format starting with an X. Now, I want you all to be very careful with this. And the reason is we've all been sending XRP a certain way all this time. And so I don't want you to go. I'm not telling you to go and use this yet, but I am telling you to go and start reading about it, because you got to be very careful. You don't want to send your XRP using this new thing and have it go somewhere and disappear or whatever, because this kind of makes me nervous. I'll be nervous the first time I try this myself. And if you do try it with one XRP. Don't try it with a bunch. Make sure you do plenty of testing before you do. It says a new address format starting with an X. A new X address format aims to replace the use of a separate destination tag when sending funds to a multi-user wallet, the XRP ledger, like those of exchanges and custodial services. And he's got a whole explanation here. Now, I'll give you my what I got out of this. Here's what I think he's done. And I don't know if they're just in the testing phase here. So be very careful and don't send a bunch of XRP doing this without testing a small amount. But I think the way I read this, like if you're sending, say, to a ledger has no destination tag. And so you're just sending, well, whoops, sorry about that. But anyway, if you're sending to a ledger, you're going to do it the same way you always have because it doesn't have a destination tag. What this is they've created a new way to send to, like, let's say you had a Binance XRP address that comes with a destination tag. This is a way to stop using the destination tag, and it assigns you a new address that doesn't have a destination tag that has an X at the beginning. I think that's the way that he's designed this. But be very careful and read all about it. Okay, X-Men XRP at XRP33 sent this. I thought this was great. Government bans only make citizens want crypto more. Binance CEO. The President of the United States is talking about cryptocurrency. Now, this is from CZ Binance. He was interviewed by CNBC. Trump so far has not done anything positive or negative. He's just said he's not a fan. The fact that he tweeted about it and the President of the United States is talking about cryptocurrency is a good thing. I agree with him there. He even entertained a scenario where Trump to go so far as outright ban. CZ says cryptocurrency will survive regardless of any one country. Most countries that try to ban Bitcoin cause their citizens to want cryptocurrency more. And then he separately addressed this spring's hack. Banks get hacked, but they're not transparent with the numbers. You see billions of dollars in fines for banks, whereas with cryptocurrency, there's more transparency, which is actually good for the users because now they know what's going on. He's exactly right. But I want to go back to this. Cryptocurrency will survive regardless of any one country banning it. He's 1,000% right on this. If they try to ban it, it'll make their citizens want it even more. I relate this to when I was growing up, anytime that someone was telling a girl or a guy that you shouldn't be dating that person, that just made them want to date the person more. so it's kind of like, especially with girls, it's kind of like if everybody's telling them not to date a guy, he becomes more and more of a bad boy in her eyes, and she wants to date him even more. That seems to be how life works. It's the forbidden fruit, all the way from the Bible, I guess. Sergeant Obi-Wan sent this. XRP community backlashes WireX CEO's comment on XRP as a security token. Makes you wonder who WireX is in bed with. This is an article written about it. We talked about it yesterday. This whole thing kind of baffles me, and the only response that the CEO of WireX made to this was this little string of tweets. They didn't put anything out apologizing on WireX. He didn't apologize. He just put this half-baked thing out. And I think Matt Hamilton answered him exactly correctly. Sorry, but your XRP is a security comment along with the smug smirk you gave at the time shows your true feeling. Not only are you just plain wrong, but you chose to take a dig at a large section of your customer base. I'm also shutting down my WireX account. And I think that my gut is exactly what Matt Hamilton was saying here. I thought that it was a smug remark, and I thought that you could see a little bit of viciousness in what the guy said, and I didn't like it a bit. And I also think it's very telling that he did anything other than just come out and say, I was wrong, I shouldn't have said that, I apologize. The fact that he didn't do that and his company didn't do that on their Twitter feed, to me, is extremely telling. Next, from Chinu Patel at Chinu Patel 29, sent this. Crypto Canoon said, biggest cryptocurrency exchange crossed 30 million US users today. And then 5 million crypto investors are being denied to deal in crypto in India is what he's referring to. Do you know what's going to happen when these investors are able to come online? It is going to be exciting times, folks. And then from Catherine Wu, and this goes back to our U.S. Congress talking about Bitcom and how they don't understand how they're getting passed in all aspects of things. Catherine Wu says, For the first time ever, China has more companies on the Fortune 500 list than the U.S. and also overtakes the U.S. in the number of new companies worth at least $1 billion. In terms of profitability, Saudi Aramco overtook Apple as the most profitable company in the world. Well, folks, bad news for anyone who is a world power. You don't hold your world power for long. And in my opinion, the way that happens is your politicians and your bureaucrats, as well as your wealthy citizens, they get too wealthy. I think this is what happened in the fall of Rome. They get too wealthy, they get fat and happy, and then they start over regulating everything, and before they know it, they don't have, like in the United States, we no longer have a manufacturing base. When I was growing up, my dad was literally a textile salesman and I used to literally go in the warehouse, and I remember climbing on the carpet rolls, and that was up in Cleveland, Tennessee, where I grew up. And I can remember literally climbing on these and seeing these. You had all sorts of manufacturing up that way, like in Dalton, Georgia, and things. We no longer have it, folks, but we've lost it, and it's in large part because our politicians handed over our manufacturing to China back in the 90s. And so, yeah, we're in a world of hurt right now in the United States, and with all of these politicians who don't seem to get it, it's only going to get worse. They're trying to regulate digital currencies and digital assets before they even know what they are. Okay, finally, and Chinu Patel sent me this too. XRP Crypto Wolf. SWIFT settles cross-border payment in 13 seconds in a global trial from Australia into Singapore. Over 10 banks participated in the trial, including ANZ, HSBC, Standard Chartered, and Royal Bank of Canada. Ripple is doing big things with these banks too. This, to me, seems to all be tied in, folks, because Ripple is working with just pretty much all of those. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that you need to get the U.S. politicians to get off their butts, because we're getting our butts kicked all over the world right now. Thanks for listening.